You want to know the fastest way to become rich is to live like you're poor. Now, so many people in life, the first thing they do is they're thinking about, how do I get rich? How do I get wealthy? How do I make it happen? And then as soon as they start to get there, they start to ramp up their expenses, ramp up their life, and start to just spend every single pound and penny they earn. It comes in, it goes out, it comes in and it goes out. So ultimately, it becomes like a vicious cycle where you're just basically living life on a hamster wheel and you're never actually making any meaningful progress in your life. This is one of the number one traps that keeps people stuck, keeps them poor, and keeps them broke. So when I say live like you're poor, what do I actually mean? Now, I live in a phenomenal high-rise apartment, one that I would have only dreamed of in my life. So you might be thinking, well, Alex, isn't that a direct contradiction to what you're saying right now? And you'd be right, but I need you to think about this. Early in my life, didn't have much, right? Didn't even have £5 to put in an electricity meter. I used to share a single bed. I'll save my full story for another video. But with all of that said, I didn't have much growing up. So what that first of all created was a huge desire to want to achieve more in my life. That's the first thing. But it also gave me a level of respect around money because I know what it was like to not have it. And so it really bred two different things. The challenge was, as I started to have more and more success, the pull to ramp up my lifestyle and to increase and improve the way I was living also grew significantly. So I started to spend so much money, right? I was spending almost everything I was earning because I didn't know what it was like to live that way. I didn't know what it was like to experience life in that way. And all I wanted to do was know what it was like. And so I had to go through this phase, you could say, of spending on the cars, the watches, the clothes, the jewelry, bit of everything, to almost get it out of my system. So what I came to learn is as the years went on and I started to realize those things weren't the things that gave me any real sense of true fulfillment. Yes, they gave me pockets and moments of happiness and joy and fun. And that's important in life, is experiences that you can look back on and reflect on, right? But in terms of true everlasting sense of fulfillment, joy, satisfaction, that wasn't where it was coming from. And so I started to learn and realize I need to think about life differently. I need to think about my life in a way where it's, how do I get closer to a more sustainable sense of fulfillment? And ultimately, the more I simplified my life, the more I found that my sense of fulfillment actually was growing. It was actually rising with more simplicity. So when I moved out here to wonderful Dubai, what I started to do was actually simplify my life. So I've had 14 cars throughout my life, multiple supercars, Audi R8, McLaren, had a BMW i8 and loads of other nice toys, right? I've seen it all in that regard. And after going through all of that, right, I moved out here and I just simplified my life. I didn't buy a car, didn't buy any new watches, didn't really buy any new designer clothes, just kept a very simple life. Wake up, train, work, eat, sleep, hang around great people, optimize my health. But I didn't buy any net new assets. And I came to find that the more simple my life was day to day, the greater sense of overall fulfillment I felt. My health felt better, my wealth was increasing, my relationships, the depth of those relationships with people, friends, people in my life also continued to rise. And so it became really fascinating for me because I used to think in my mind that wouldn't it be the cars and the assets were gonna be the things that would derive and create the happiness. That's all I could ever really think about at a period in my life. But I started to see that it was the simplicity, right, that was helping to contribute to a greater sense of deep, more purposeful fulfillment. And so the message that I'm really encouraging here is it's the lifestyle inflation that you're creating in your life. It's the fact that every pound and dollar that you're earning, you're choosing to spend on things that you think are going to give you long-lasting happiness. These are the things that are actually keeping you stuck. These are the things that are actually holding you back in your life. Because one, you're almost spending everything that comes in. And two, you're tying so much of your self-worth to assets, right? And whenever you do that, you become beholden to these assets. They become a bit of a master over you and a master over your life. And so that has to change. That has to change. And the only way to change it is you've got to fundamentally change your mindset and the way that you live and your relationship with those assets and what they mean to you. So you've got to accept them as things that can give you periodic moments of joy, things that can give you a short pocket of happiness. Maybe they are a symbol for you of something you've achieved in your life, and that's great and that's fine. But make sure that you are spending on things relative to your earnings. So when I talk about the apartment that I live in now, the reason I bring that up is because relative to my earnings, I've been able to get to a place in my life where the investment that I make to live in that particular property each month, it's not a huge investment relative to what I'm bringing in. It's a pretty small investment, but it makes a huge difference to me because I came to learn that where I live is super, super important for me. And it's really super important for anyone. The environment that you wake up in, how it makes you feel, that is a huge thing for me. So I don't choose to live in that apartment because of anyone else but myself. I choose to live there because I need it, because of the energy that it breeds and the way it makes me feel. Whereas when I used to think about some of the cars I would buy and the decisions I would make around some assets, watches, things like that, so much of that was for external validation. So much of that was because I felt I needed to create an image, basically, to portray to others and to showcase. Now, does that mean that I'm not going to buy a fancy car in the future and not going to buy a fancy watch? Absolutely not. These are all things that I will buy again at some point and will continue to invest in. But the difference is, it's my relationship with those assets. When I choose to buy a new car or I choose to buy a new watch, it's solely going to be because it's what I want. It's a car that I have wanted. It's a watch that I've wanted. It's for me. It's not me making the purchase to try to satisfy someone else. It's not me making that purchase because I feel I need to fit in or create an image for someone else. So the most important thing is the reason for what you're doing. Are you doing it for you? Are you doing it because it's a goal that you had? Or are you doing it because you feel you need to keep up an appearance or show a particular way of living to someone else? If it's the latter, that's when it's problematic, because you're not doing it for the right reasons in your own heart, and you're going to be on this hamster wheel constantly trying to keep up with a certain image and a certain way of living to appease someone who really doesn't actually care about you. The people that care about you truly in your life, you know they do, and all they want is you to be happy, wholesome, living a fulfilled life in ways that actually serve the way that you want to live. So ask yourself, what does greatness actually look like for you in your life? What is it that you enjoy doing? Why are you making the decisions that you're making? Are you making these decisions for yourself? Or are you making these decisions to try to satisfy what you feel you could or should be doing to live up to the standards of someone else in your life? So it's your very decisions around spending too much, allowing lifestyle creep, right? Spending for reasons that are not solely based around you. These are all of the things that are keeping you stuck and keeping you broke and keeping you poor. If you can keep your expenses down, if you can control the way that you live, if you can have periods of time where you just lock in and you just focus on the fact that the primary aim at this phase of your life is wealth attainment, is health attainment, and is having deep and meaningful relationships, just keep your life under control, have some balance, live in a more simplistic way, even just for a period of time. Give yourself that opportunity to really stack up, give yourself that chance to really lock in, and then see how your life changes after 6 to 12 months. Take the time to do that. Don't live a life based on other people's pretenses. And I can guarantee if you do that for a period of time, you'll see your life fundamentally change. You'll see your mindset fundamentally change. You'll gravitate more people around you that are much more akin to where you are in your journey, where you want to go, and the type of life that you want to live. So I hope that you found this video helpful. If you have, please do like, comment, share, and subscribe. I'll leave some links in the description box below so you can get in touch if you got any questions or you want to interact in any way. And until then, please do check out one of the next videos I'll leave up on screen, and I will see you on the next one. Until then, keep climbing.